Director of Columbus Recreation and Parks Department. Welcome to Westgate Community Center. Community centers and parks are hubs for our residents. The community center is a long-standing pillar here in the Hilltop community. This center is also a hub for programming that helps keep young people engaged, provides employment, and offers alternatives to crime. Here at Westgate, we offer ceramics for young people, teens, family art classes, basketball, gymnastics, drama classes, and so much more. This summer, we are offering our free lunch program for ages 18 and under. It begins June 13th, so be prepared. Sadly, this year, Westgate has been the site of crimes, including a homicide in May. That evening, our staff ensured that all children were kept safe. I'd like to tell you about our center manager here at Westgate, Malcolm Wilkes. Malcolm has worked in numerous roles in the department, and because of his dedication and willingness to serve the city of Columbus, he was promoted to the center manager. Malcolm and his team strives daily to empower and uplift our youth through engaging programs, particularly in the midst of crisis. Malcolm embodies true servant leadership. Thank you, Malcolm, and your staff for your continued dedication and commitment to serving our youth. Our parks and community centers are safe, and no one should worry about safety when visiting a Columbus park or a community center. At this time, I am honored to introduce the leader of our great city, the City of Columbus, Andrew J. Ginther.
Thank you, Director, and thank you to the entire team here at Westgate. And the incredible employees. I think we're blessed with one of the best recreation and parks departments in the country. I think one of our Rec and Parks commissioners, Joe Motil, is here. Joe, thanks for your service on the commission and all you do for recreation and parks and for the incredible staff. Our heartfelt thanks to the brave and heroic team here. You all leapt into action and did what needed to be done quickly to address a tragic and frightening situation. You kept children and residents safe. We're so grateful for everything you did that day and for what you do for us every day in centers around our community. Know that we're committed in doing all that we can as a city and as a community to support you, to working to ensure a safe and fulfilling summer, especially for our youth and our children. We're pursuing holistic approaches to reducing crime and violence in our community, including the $16 million in support for summer programming that we announced last week. Prevention, intervention, apprehension. These are more than words. They're methods and strategies, each with their own tactics and initiatives to bring down violent crime and improving the quality of life. The Chief will share the statistics, but this comprehensive approach is working. Homicides are down dramatically compared this year to last year, and we know that our closure rate, due to the incredible work of police, is up dramatically. There's an extension collaborative across the board. Integration and alignment woven throughout our programming and our partnerships to ensure the greatest impact and build a brighter future for all of our residents. One example is Recreation and Parks, whose role in helping to promote community safety has only grown in recent years. Their work includes our more traditional camps, classes, educational and enrichment opportunities, as well as proven violence prevention programs like Reroute and APPS, and the vital wraparound services they provide. We're working on many fronts to create a safer, more peaceful Columbus, and this certainly includes our wonderful parks and community centers, which represent hope, fun, learning, and opportunity for so many children in Central Ohio. That is why in the coming weeks, we will be installing new solar-powered light and camera towers in 22 city parks to cut down on dangerous and illegal activity, including one here at Westgate. These towers will provide visual deterrence with blue strobe and thermal imaging that allows for video capture at night. They also have security features that prevent tampering. The parks slated to receive these towers are associated with elevated calls for service, and these lights, thanks to their portable construction, will give us the flexibility to move them where they're needed most. We've also entered into an agreement with the Fraternal Order of Police to support expanded patrols on weekends throughout the city, a central part of Chief Bryant's staffing plan. This memorandum of understanding enables us to pay sworn officers double time to work Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays between Memorial Day and Labor Day, and allows us up to 40 additional officers in high visibility areas to assist our regularly scheduled patrols, not just in our parks, but in our neighborhoods across Columbus. This is a significant undertaking, and we are grateful to all of our departments and community partners working together, as well as the incredible work being done every day by our officers for helping to make this happen. We're also fortunate to have the support of our colleagues on City Council who voted this past Monday to bring these measures online. It's my pleasure to introduce the chairman of the City Council Safety Committee, a great partner in all of this work, Chairman, Councilmember Emmanuel Remy.
Good morning. It's a great day to be here in Westgate Park to talk about some of the initiatives that we have put forth. Thank you all for being here in person and tuning in as well. It's no secret that Columbus is the fastest growing city in the Midwest. And like many cities its size, we are facing the same adversities that coincide with growth. As a community, we've lost children, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, cousins, friends, and the list goes on. To anyone listening and still grieving, please know that I stand with you and will continue to challenge myself and everyone beside me to get us to a safer, less violent Columbus. But please know that we do need you. We need everyone to help get us to the place we need to be. If we all continue to come together, be creative, talk to our at-risk youth, volunteer to work in our community, pull in our offenders and potential offenders and guide them to resources they need, we can hope to see some change. And if the resources aren't out there, let's have a conversation. Over the last couple of weeks, this council, along with the mayor, increased our city's investment of over $16 million in youth funding. We continue to support and lift up Chief Bryant and her leadership in providing police with technology resources needed to enhance the realities they are facing day in and day out. And we will also continue to highlight the work that is being done in group violence intervention and challenging all of our departments and partners to do more in collaboration and sharing resources. In addition, we're working closely with fire to stand up a best-in-class right response unit that will rival any in the nation. We're committed to make Columbus a better place, and we need your pledge to join us in making that same commitment. Each and every resident that is listening today, we need you to stand strong with us. Use your voice. I believe in Columbus, and I believe in all of us as a community. Before I go, I would like to say a big thank you to our mayor, Andrew Ginther, Director Bernita Reese, Chief Elaine Bryant, and all others who have been instrumental in increasing park safety for our children, families, seniors, and all other residents who utilize this invaluable resource. Thank you all, and have a great day. Now I'd like to introduce our wonderful Chief, Elaine Bryant.
Good morning. I want to begin by thanking Mayor Ginther, Safety Chair Remy, and all members of City Council for supporting our efforts to ensure the safety of our residents, not just in parks, but throughout the city. We knew officer retirements were coming this summer, and we've been planning accordingly. Project Moonlight, approved by City Council this week, will put up to 40 additional officers in high visibility areas during key times throughout the summer. Officers who do not already work patrol. That means dozens of extra boots on the ground when and where they are needed most. Safe Streets begins May 29th. 1 lieutenant, 5 sergeants, and 32 officers working in teams across the city. These bike officers will be in every zone, both engaging in community and conducting enforcement activity. We know the residents love our bike officers, not only because they are highly visible, but they are out of their cruisers, much more approachable and eager to interact with the community. We are doing this without taking away from officers in cruisers who are available to respond to runs. Last year, Safe Streets proved to be invaluable. Officers attended 159 community meetings, 181 community events, made 70 felony arrests, and seized 47 firearms and recovered 7 stolen vehicles. So we know that this works. We have a recruit class graduating in July with 58 new officers that will patrol Columbus streets. We've just wrapped up our 4th Operation Unity. This time we focused on the far north side. While I do not have the stats right at this moment, our previous 3 years have resulted in the following: 79 felony arrests, 37 misdemeanor arrests, 36 illegal firearms seized, 101 warrants served, 11 stolen vehicles recovered, and 618 traffic citations issued. These operations have been successful and very well received by our residents. These are driven by crime statistics. And while there is a heavy focus on enforcement, that's not all we do. With our community partners, we make sure those living in those neighborhoods are provided wraparound services to help improve their quality of life. Operation Wheels Down is our enforcement operation against illegal and reckless ATV and dirt bikes around our city. Our residents have made it clear these dangerous and disruptive activities are unwelcomed in their neighborhoods, and we're determined to put a stop to it. Our first enforcement operation resulted in the following: 11 people arrested or summoned for charges including OVI, reckless operation, no operator's license, and failure to comply. Of those arrests, 2 were felony charges, including carrying a concealed weapon and aggravated possession of drugs. We impounded 9 ATVs and dirt bikes and recovered 1 illegal firearm. Our officers have pulled to date more than 1,100 illegal guns from our streets. 1,100 to date. Guns are involved in the vast majority of our homicides. Preventing loss of life and bringing justice to the families of homicide victims is among our top priorities. That is why we are continuing last year's successful pilot program with our homicide unit. This team concept allows the schedules of our detectives to allow them to collaborate more closely with each other and our partners in the justice system, and we are seeing promising results. Last year at this time, we had 84 homicides year to date. 84 homicides with around a 47% closure rate of those homicides. As of today, we have 49. 84 last year to date, 49 today, this year to date. Our detectives have solved 38 homicides this year. 38 homicides have been solved this year. That's 38 murderers off the street. 26 of those cases occurred in 2022 with about a 53% closure rate and 12 cases from previous years, which pushes our overall closure rate to 77%. And this is important because the families of these victims, they don't care if it happened December 31st, they don't care if it happened January 1st, they want justice for their families. And our detectives are working around the clock, regardless of when this homicide happened, to make sure that we bring that justice to our families. And it's also important to know that the suspects that we're locking up, they have been proven to be repeat offenders. So when we take a suspect off the street, we are very likely preventing homicides from occurring or felonious assaults from occurring in the future. These are killers off the streets. I know these percentages, they don't bring comfort for loved ones who are still waiting for justice. We understand that. and we haven't forgotten about you. We're going to continue to work hard and diligently to bring justice to all the families. Everything I just spoke about, all of the arrests, gun seizures, and solved homicides are due to the tireless work of the men and women that wear this badge. I'm proud of them. I believe in them. And more importantly, they believe in the mission to make our city a safer and stronger place to live, work, and play. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Bryant, and thank you to all the members of the Division of Police. The statistics speak for themselves. Dramatic reduction in homicides, closure rate of 77%. Two reasons: great officers working hard, but the community stepping up and sharing information with law enforcement, the likes of which we have not seen for several years. And so I continue to challenge the community. If you see something, say something. Share that information, whether it's on our streets, in our parks, in places around our community. These actions we've covered today are laser focused on promoting a safe and successful summer. Several have been in the works for months and provide benefits for our community well into the future. For instance, we've been working since last year to prepare for expected changes in staffing levels at the Division of Police. This was part of a 3-year contract that was secured last summer with the Fraternal Order of Police, and it's integral to continuing our efforts to reform policing, strengthen trust and transparency, and better reflect and respond to the needs of a diverse and growing community. There's still much work to do, but we're proud of the progress and reforms we've already achieved. At the same time, we recognize that we're at a critical inflection point. While homicides are down, solve rates are up, the summer months are typically associated with increases in violent crime. We refuse to rest on our laurels. We know that even one homicide in our community is too many. We will continue to embrace proactive policing, implement new violence mitigation measures, and solicit the active involvement of our community to partner with us in this work. And we fully recognize that our city, like much of the nation, has a severe and devastating gun problem. The tragedies continue to mount and communities are in mourning. Not just mass shootings, but the shootings and homicides taking place in cities across America. We, as a community, as a nation, need to come to grips with this devastating gun problem. We need the federal government to step up, and we need the state government. If they don't have the courage to ban assault weapons, pass red flag laws, and implement universal background checks, to step aside and let us lead. It is a dangerous job enough for our officers, but to have stand your ground and permitless carry becoming the law of this state, devastating, devastating. Inconsistent with our values of supporting safety, security, and law and order. We'll continue to add our voice to the national dialogue surrounding gun violence and apply additional pressure to better protect our parks, our neighborhoods, and our residents. Together, we'll foster the conditions for a safe and prosperous Columbus. I'm confident in Chief Bryant's plan to help us get to where we need to be. Be happy to take some questions from the press. Yes, Luann?
Hi, Mayor. Talk about the 100 officer buyout. The chief mentioned in city council meeting the other night that there is a shortage of officers. If you knew what you know now, would you have decided to offer that buyout to those 100 officers?
Absolutely. I think it was the right thing to do, and that's why you're seeing reallocation of resources. And this, what we announced today with the additional officers working overtime this summer to supplement our patrol work is also part of a larger plan, a reorganization, redistricting plan that the chief is going to share in the coming months to really take a look at the data. We haven't had a reorganization, realignment within the Division of Police, Sergeant, since 2010. Is that the last year? A lot has changed in our city. Calls for service, demand, making sure that we've got the right number of officers in the right parts of the city at the right times, because calls for service, as you know, go up dramatically in second and the early part of third shift. And so we think this is the right thing to help us continue to reform the division. We believe strongly that we can support the Division of Police and reform the division at the same time. We reject false choices, and that buyout was a critical piece to that. But Chief, I don't know if you want to speak any more to staffing.
I want to point out that when we talk about this, we have to look at what we've accomplished in 11 months. This has not stopped us from doing anything. We talk about the homicides and how we've decreased that. We just speak about them, but let's talk about felonious assaults. We're down over 150 felonious assaults too. The work is being done. The work is being led by leaders in our department, our lieutenants, our commanders, our deputy chiefs, our sergeants, and we're being very strategic and very focused about where we put our officers, and we are getting the work done. I don't want that to get lost on anyone. Our officers are getting it done, and they are doing a phenomenal job. We're going to continue to add, like the mayor said, we have a third class in. We have things that we're putting in place to add additional officers, but make no mistake about it, the work is getting done.
I was wondering if you know how many special duty positions, those double time positions, are open for this weekend, and how many officers have signed up for those positions?
Well, we're still waiting for the numbers to come in, but as I checked last time, we have, I believe, 22 so far on Saturday, 20-something on Sunday, 17 on Friday, but they're still coming in, so I can't give you those definitive numbers as of right now.
It's been an issue, especially for the OSU games, to fill the special duty positions. Do you think it's going to be as big of a problem with these weekend shifts?
I do not. I do not, and let me tell you why. First and foremost, our officers, they like to take care of each other, and they want to make sure that they're covered as well. These officers that are filling these positions are not officers that are working patrol on those hours. These are additional officers that already have done their shift, whether they're solving burglaries, whether they're solving homicides, whether they're doing traffic duty. These are officers that have taken the responsibility to come out and assist their fellow officers who are already working patrol. So I don't think that we're going to see an issue, because they understand the mission and they want to make sure that the residents are safe this summer as well.
Do you know where the applications stand for lateral transfers, and do you have enough qualified applicants to support a July class?
We are still in the process of vetting the numbers that we have, so I can't give you the definitive numbers, but we're continuously bringing in candidates.
It's part of Chief, it's part of a comprehensive effort. The additional classes, 170 new officers we're investing in this year. The lateral transfer, she's working. We'll share these details in the coming weeks of the reactivation of the reserve unit and continuing to work in creative ways to make sure we have the resources, the officers where they're needed most. What other questions? Yes.
Mayor, you talked about the homicides being down. As of this point in 2020, we were at 41 homicides, even fewer than we're at currently for this year. We obviously saw a very large spike towards the end of the year. Are you concerned that we're setting ourselves up for a repeat of 2020 with a large spike?
It seems like your target keeps moving, it's compared to last year. No, now we're going to go back in 5 years or 3 years. So I feel like it's something obviously we're very mindful of. Reducing the number of homicides by 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, none of that is acceptable. We want to be the safest big city in America. We're not today, but we're seeing tremendous progress. And we need to give our officers and the community credit for that success. People are stepping up. They're sharing information. We know from all the data and research, less than 500 people in the city of 900,000 are responsible for 50% of the violence and homicides. And what the chief and her team are doing are identifying those folks, getting them off the street, holding them accountable, and making all of us safer. But we will not rest until we're the safest big city in the country. Yes?
Heading into festival season, we've got the Arts Festival, Red, White, and Boom's probably our biggest. Are we ready for Red, White, and Boom as far as safety is concerned? Do we have the officers to cover that event? That might be a question for you, Mayor, Ben, as well as the Chief.
The Chief's probably a lot more qualified to speak to specific resources and staffing. I know that she's been working for months with the safety director and the city administration to prepare for this festival season. We're expecting larger crowds. There are a lot of folks who have a lot of pent-up demand for jazz, ribs, arts, pride. So we think they're going to be large crowds. We're excited about that. People are wanting to be back together and outside and with friends and neighbors. So we're preparing for that. But as far as the specific staffing and resources, I'll let the chief handle that.
It's going to be all hands on deck this summer, not just with us, but with Ohio State Patrol, our partners. We've already been in talks with them, so we're going to make sure that we're covered. And that's part of our strategy in regards to even Operation Moonlight and Safe Streets. Understand that they will be working, we'll all be working those festivals, we'll all be working different events, so the streets will be staffed.
When it comes to staffing, has the department started canceling first days off, some vacation time, stuff like that to staff some of these events?
We are definitely looking at what we need to do to make sure that we're taking care of the residents and making sure the streets are safe. So that option is on the table.
Talk about overtime budget. We're hearing that the overtime is racking up a bill here. Do we have the money to do that? And, what's it going to cost taxpayers?
We're going to spend whatever it takes to make our city safe. And I know with the leadership of Chairman Remy, his partners, colleagues at City Council, we will do just that. So overtime, additional classes, lateral transfers, reactivation of the reserve unit, all of this work we're committed to investing in and doing, not just this year, because we know because of separation and retirements, it's going to take us a couple of years to get back to where we need to be. And by the way, our city grew by 100,000 people in the last decade. My guess is we may see twice that in the next 10 years. And so, I'm committed to continuing to make sure we have the resources we need, and the chief is working on a plan to make sure that we're putting them in the places they're needed most at the times they're needed most.
Mayor, what do you say to reassure folks, especially around the parks like Westgate that have seen deadly violence? What do you say to reassure those folks that it is safe to return to these parks?
Well, I think we've said a lot of that in the time we've been here together, and that's why we're investing in these cameras, the lighting, the additional officers. Again, not just for the parks. These officers are going to be in neighborhoods across the city, and we're going to continue to move these cameras and lighting to different places around the city based on information and wherever they're needed. So we think this, coupled with another historic investment in summer programming for youth, really, again, this is about prevention, intervention, and apprehension. And I think the results are showing some very promising trends.
One more question.
Dan.
When will we start to see those cameras and lights in the parks? How often will we reevaluate whether they should be moved to different parks? And will we get a list of all of those parks where they will start out?
I don't think, I'll let the chief answer some of the questions about when they will be here. I think we're reluctant to share the list because we are going to continue to move them, and we don't want to have folks that have been using our parks to do illegal and inappropriate things to know where they are. Know that we're looking at data. There's great coordination between the chief and Director Reese, their teams, and other folks at the city. But we really want to be able to be nimble and be driven by data in how we use these things. The bottom line is this: parks belong to families, children, seniors. If you have been or are looking to do inappropriate or illegal things in our parks, we're coming after you. And we're going to be reviewing this footage and using this information and the additional resources to hold folks accountable. Chief?
The mayor pretty much said it all. I think that the cameras should be here somewhere. They're going to start arriving somewhere mid-June. So we should be able to have those up. I don't know if Director Reese wanted to add anything additional?
The only thing I would add, and that is that we have interventionists also. So as well as our police officers, we have interventionists that are in our parks, they're in our communities, they are intervening with our young people on a daily basis. Just since January this year, we have had 38 gang-related cases within our interventionists that we work with. And so there's a number of methods that we're going about to ensure safety within our parks.
It's a great point, Director, and appreciate you making that. It is really a comprehensive approach. Anybody else?
Tell us more about Operation Unity that's going on right now.
Don't have any information on that yet. We should have something later for you today.
More likely, just about the goal, what you're trying to do with it, I guess, not so much the stats, but, you know, what do you want to accomplish with that? We saw some of it, we were out shooting another story yesterday and saw some of the push that you're making with your officers. You know, what is it what do you want to tell the neighborhoods about what you're doing?
The goal is to ensure, and especially for this particular day, we're kicking off our summer to let people know that we're out here and we want to make sure that they're going to have a safe summer. We want to respond to the neighbors that are complaining about specific crimes or specific things going on in their neighborhoods. So like we talked about before, it's driven by statistics, and we want to make sure that we're hitting different neighborhoods to let them know that we hear their concerns and we're going to make sure that we address them. But it's not just about the enforcement piece, it's also about making sure that we address any quality of life issues, whether it's the vehicles that have been on streets for months that need to be moved, or whether it's about broken windows or things that affect people that may not necessarily be violent crimes, but it would still affect the way that they enjoy their summer, the way that they enjoy their streets, the way they enjoy their neighborhoods. So, but again, we don't have any stats. We'll have them for you later.
We'll stick around for one-on-ones, but want to give Councilmember Remy a close.
Just thankful for the support from all of us. It's refreshing to work together in such a collaborative way. In many cases, unlike we've ever seen, you know, this level of collaboration to tackle a giant problem. And, you know, back to your question about the budget, that sort of thing, there is no price you can put on the feeling of safety within our community. And we will do what it takes to make sure that everyone feels safe in the city of Columbus. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you. Thanks, Chief.